Many people, when they think of Berlin, Germany, they think of places like the Brandenburg Gate that they can go to and see the sights. But what people don't realize when they travel to Germany is that there are several hidden treasures within the city. Berlin has several hidden treasures, and those are in the forms of several different kinds of museums. The Zucker Museum is a perfect example of this. The Zucker Museum is also known as the Sugar Museum, and it creatively displays the history and technology of sugar. It opened in Berlin in 1904, which makes it the oldest museum of its kind. It has 450 square meters of floor space devoted to the history and technology of sugar, and about 20,000 people visit it every year. It has become a very popular attraction. When arriving at the museum, one will notice that all of the exhibits are in German only. However, that should not discourage visitors from seeing the wonderful museum. At the service desk, there are now pamphlets that contain different languages so that the exhibit can be easily translated. The Sugar Museum's easily accessible guides and creative displays have critics raving. The Lonely Planet called the Sugar Museum quirky, a surprisingly entertaining exhibit where you'll learn about the origin of sugar and its chemistry. The history of the Sugar Museum focuses mostly on the part that Berlin played in the history production of sugar. Berlin discovered beet sugar in 1747, and a student, Franz Karl Achard, was the first to produce sugar in 1783 in Berlin. After producing sugar for the first time, Franz presented his product to King Frederick William III of Prussia. The king was then so impressed that he decided to sponsor him in establishing the first beet sugar production plant in the world, which was located in Poland. Then, in 1867, a sugar research laboratory was established in Berlin. After a few years, on May 8, 1904, the Institute for Sugar Industry opened, and the Sugar Museum opened at that same time on the upper floor of the building. Von Lippmann is credited with the establishment of the opening of the museum. In 1945, the museum became the property of Berlin and later on became a state museum to the former GDR. Then, after years of renovation, it reopened on September 22, 1989, and has been going strong ever since and has been better than ever. The museum, however, is soon going to be relocated to Wedding neighborhood, so it's important that tourists see it in its now original state before it is relocated again. The history is not the only fascinating item of the museum, however. Its structure is one to be admired. The museum is organized into 7 groups. The first group is sugarcane. This section displays the biology and cultivation history of sugarcane and also the harvesting and refining machinery that was used. Second is sugar and colonialism. This section walks the tourist through the 16th century's effect on sugar during Western colonization. Then, third is slave trade's involvement in sugar. This section walks the tourist through how sugar production became dependent upon slaves. Fourth is the sugar beet in Prussia, where it displays the simplicity of growing and harvesting the sugar beet in Germany and the sugar beet's role with Prussia. Sixth is a world without sugar. This section is one of the most interesting sections, and it displays how important sugar has become, as well as how people lived with sugar before it was discovered. It also discusses how sugar can never totally be replaced by alternative sweeteners. Seventh is no alcohol without sugar. This section discusses how for years men would use sugar to produce alcohol. Overall, the museum offers a very unique display of sugar. Adults and children not only can learn about sugar, but they can also make their own sugar from a sugar beet. It is a must museum when traveling to Berlin. Now here are some photos of things that you can see. This is an example of a sugar funnel that was used to funnel sugar at the very beginning. Next, we have a painting of how sugar was used in the home. Then we have a lump of roughly cleaned colonial sugar, which was packed in barrels or boxes to be delivered to European refineries. Then over here, we have a very fancy vase that shows how sugar was a luxury item and was often displayed in expensive items, such as this 1810 silver basket. Then right here, we have a small sugarcane mill that was hand cranked. Then we have a way that they would wash the sugar beets. And then my personal favorite is the Brandenburg Gate, fully made out of sugar. As you can see, the Zucker Museum is a must-see when you go to Berlin, and it is highly recommended. It is located on Muren Street, and its hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. It is well worth it.